What's up, rockers?
Hey, I'm Kaz.
And I'm Shay, and welcome to another episode of For the Record with Kaz and Shay. Kaz, how are you?
I'm stellar.
You're stellar? We're stuck in the 90s. We had so much fun a couple weeks ago. Whenever we did our favorite albums of the 90s, we realized there's a shit ton of albums that we didn't include. So why wait months or years? Let's back that up. Let's do episode 2.
Well, like I said, there was so much music, and we were so young and so full of energy.
Yeah, we should put up our senior photos right here to see what we looked like
at
the start of 1990.
Right? I think I had the Bill Cosby style sweatshirt on.
I think I had maybe a cardigan sweater with a turtleneck.
You had the turtleneck.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then, Kelsie, how old were you in 1990? 0. Baby. Well, maybe we'll put up a baby picture of you to see what she looks like. She's such a youngster. But she's got an old soul. That's what we love about her.
Yeah, she's a rocker.
She's a rocker. And when we talk about the 90s, Kelsie walked in reminding us that Dookie celebrated its 29th anniversary today. She likes Green Day. I like Green Day. Good job, Green Day. 29 years of Dookie.
I like them too.
You like them too? Yeah.
Yeah.
We went and saw them with a big group of friends. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had car problems on that one.
Yeah.
But we figured it out.
We figured it out. Yeah, it was just a nice scare. So we're going to do part 2 of our favorite albums from the 90s. And if you saw the first episode and you're like, oh, why didn't you include this? Maybe some of those albums will be in this little portion, part 2.
Yeah, this is like the second Lollapalooza. You know, it's like, oh, the bands that didn't make the first one. Now the second one is really cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty sad to say that I never attended a single Lollapalooza.
Oh, I did the first 2, and then I was done.
I did an N-Fest. Those were fun.
Yeah.
When was the last time you did N-Fest?
I never did one.
I did 2007. Social D and Smashing Pumpkins were the headliners.
Oh,
that was a really good show. Out in the Kingdome parking lot before they tore it down.
I used to go to the Warped Tour in those.
Yeah.
And then I ended up working on the Warped Tour. So
God, you've done it all. Where haven't you worked, Brian?
I know.
So
Mary's Club.
Mary's Club. Shit, I should have. I wore a Mary's Club jacket over here today. I'm not wearing it now.
I drank out of my Mary's pint glass today.
They're everywhere. Mary's Club should be a part of your daily life. It's not if it's not already.
Should we get this whole 90s revival going?
Let's do it. What's your first album, Brian?
My first album this is a great band. And they did it right. After the whole Seattle thing kind of went, they took time off. And when it was time, they came back, and it was better than ever. The Presidents of the United States of America. I love this album. It almost had I enjoyed this in the 90s, and then again, they started playing President's Day weekend shows, and I would shoot all those shows, and those were fun. And then this album I found another love again in the early 2000s for it, nonstop, and they finally reissued it on vinyl, which already all sold out, but they are reissuing it again.
Yeah, I think Chris Ballou announced it today on his Instagram that they were releasing it. Yeah.
If you follow Chris Ballou on Instagram or the President's website, they'll have the link. But this was a fun band. This was a turn away from everything else that was going on in Seattle. This was just fun music and talented, believe it or not. Simple. If you guys are bored, get on my website. I had some blogs I did, and Chris Ballou was the very first blog I ever did on olikaz.com, and a really fun interview I did with him about how it all started. But anyhow, this was definitely that fun, feel-good album. We're going to play a little song called Bo Weevil.
Let me tell you about a friend of mine. His name's Bo Weevil. Check him out. Spends all day on his big butt, and he don't ever get outside. I come to visit, I bring some sunshine, and I just spread it all over the fire.
I feel pretty bad, you asked me a couple times to go to the Pusa Fest, I'm like, oh no, I'll catch the next one. And then the year that I wanted to go, I'm gonna go. That's when they stopped it.
Yeah, Chris decided, I'm done.
Yeah, But it
He
was
likes staying in his own bed, not hotels.
Yep.
And even though all the shows were in Seattle, but he's just a guy that works on his own.
that's awesome.
You know, and he puts out pretty neat music too,
Yeah,
as
he does.
solo, and does his Casper Baby Pants. But that was definitely a fun time, and those were some of the most entertaining shows. I mean, those guys were all, you know, Andrew McKeag was great, Jason Finn and Chris Blue. It was just
Killer
great,
band,
great
killer
live
band.
shows.
So I'm really surprised that this didn't make the first episode. Allison Chains Dirt. But you had Facelift on there.
Yep, I
their
had the first one.
Yeah, so this is their second album, and I love Alice in Chains, and this album is just so goddamn good. And I admitted to you earlier that my love for Alice in Chains stems from my love for Jerry Cantrell. I just love his guitar playing and the way he can harmonize with Lane, and he's still doing that in the newest iterations of Alice in Chains, which I love. Have you listened to the new shit that much?
No.
No, I love it. I just love it. So this whole album is good. So many killer songs on this. You know them all. You've heard them all. But I'd like to play the song Rain When I Die, because that's my favorite Alice in Chains song of the Lane Staley years. We never saw them together with the original band, but we did see them probably 2014, the newest version in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty killer show.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were great.
Good band.
They're definitely good.
Mm-hmm.
My second one is a band that I saw for the first time in '96, and then when I worked on the band's Warped Tour, they were one of the headliners. So I got such a good fill of Pennywise. I've seen these guys so many times. I love them. It's hard to say whether Full Circle or this. I was saying today, I could put in any one of their albums, and they're all just equally as good. Mm-hmm. All cool. They don't change their style much, which I appreciate. Mm-hmm. It's in your face. It's great. It's fast. It is good. Just a big fan of these guys. Just everything about Pennywise. And this album here was like, I think, came out in '97. I just love it. So anyhow, we're going to play you a song called Can't Take Any More.
Thought you could face the world, now you lost your nerve. All the things you held so close till the tables turned. Like when I tried to warn you, so you took the risk.
You know what I love about them? I mean, they're fast, but like you really listen to these guys. Like Randy Bradbury's bass playing is just so spot on with that band. He's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole band is killer. But I just really like listening to Randy's bass lines and stuff on all their songs. He's so good.
He is delightful, as they say. Well, my next album is from a little band called Soundgarden. Have you ever heard of them, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
So this is Bad Motorfinger. This came out in 1991, and it came out a couple of months after Pearl Jam's 10 and Nirvana's Nevermind. But I think this is the best grunge album of all time. This album is so good. I mean, with Rusty Cage and Outshined and Jesus Christ Pros, and such a good album. Got so good. I love Kim Thale and miss Chris Cornell, and I think this was the first album with Ben Shepherd. Who was the drummer before Ben Shepherd?
Hiro Yamamoto.
Hiro Yamamoto.
Also played in Truly with Mark Pickrell.
Good trivia there. But this album is great, and I want to play Searching with My Good Eye Closed. Let's hear that one. Love those guys. Love that album. What you got next, Brad?
So I've got a little stuff from the Bay Area.
I know where you're going. I don't even know it.
Rancid.
Yeah.
And I picked this album actually over and Out Come the Wolves.
I'm really surprised that didn't make either of my lists. I love that album.
Right. It's good. And this was actually the first time I had seen Rancid, and it was on one of those Warped tours. And this album had just came out. And I just remember them playing the song Hoover Street off this album. And I thought that was so badass. And then very quickly became a Rancid fan. Got all their catalogs, and but I love this Life Won't Wait album. It's like kind of almost like they kind of grew up a little on this album, not in a goofy, stupid way, but as far as musicians, this is just God. And they have a bunch of guests on this album too, like Dickie Barrett does a song with them and some other ones. But I just love this album. The song Blood Clot was that one that I would just drive to with the windows down, because it just kind of just sounds like that quintessential how a punk song should be. But yeah, definitely one of the albums of my 90s, Life Won't Wait by Rancid. And we're going to play you a song called Blood Clot.
I love Rancid.
Good band.
Good band.
California puts out good bands.
Yeah. Speaking of California good bands, Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction. I believe, is this on Epitaph Records? Are they were label mates?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So this is like maybe their 7th or 8th album, but it was their biggest seller. First album that went gold for them, and I don't know if it's still their biggest seller, but the albums, did I say Stranger Than Fiction? Have I already called? Yeah, Stranger Than Fiction. Such a good album, as all Bad Religion albums are. A lot of good songs here, but I want to play the first song, which is called Incomplete. So we've got the 2 NoFX shows coming up this summer in Tacoma, part of their final tour. They haven't announced who's playing on the bill with them, but I would love to have Bad Religion, maybe even Rancid. I don't know. Let's hope for the best. Pennywise, yeah.
Bad Cop.
They will not. They will not be there, which sucks. We love Bad Cop. Hi, Bad Cop.
Good.
Yeah. Did you want to say hi to Bad Cop?
Hi, ladies.
There you go. All right, I forced you to do so many things you don't want to do. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good with it. I'm just shy.
Don't be shy. You're sexy. You can just be out there. Just be proud of yourself. You look that good at this advanced age that we are.
I know. Well, man, I think it's funny. I'm thinking like all our albums so far are between Seattle and California.
Well, we're West Coasters for a reason.
That's true.
Yeah.
Left Coast.
Yeah, we're out and proud.
Social Distortion's album, White Light, White Heat, White Trash. This is cool album. I love the 2 that were before it also, but this was just a little dirtier sounding, a little meaner sounding. I just love this album. It was Chuck Biscuits was on drum for this album, and it's just was in 96 this came out, and I saw them. And this was like, Mike Ness was in his 30s, and then kind of in his prime as a performer back then. And like this album is just so cool in so many ways. I just love this album. We're going to play a song called Don't Drag Me Down.
Good. We've seen Social Distortion a lot, but it's been a while. I feel like it's been 2 or 3 years since they've been around up here. Hope we can see them again.
They're good.
Yeah, well, up to now you said West Coast rock.
Right.
This is not West Coast.
We got to across the pond.
Across the pond to jolly old England for Oasis. Let me straighten. Thanks, Kelsie, for, I can straighten that. But Oasis, this is their second album, What's the Story, Morning Glory. And this album was freaking epic. I think there was 6 singles off this album. It's a big album, a lot of anthems, and it's a lot different than their first album. Some people didn't like that, but I really like it. What can you say about the Gallagher brothers? It's tough being a sibling. You don't always get along. I don't really talk to my brother. I'd like to change that. You get along with your sister pretty well?
Yeah.
So
we have our moments.
Yeah, they've had moments for the last, I don't know how many years they've been broken up, and I don't know if they're ever going to come back again. But I love this album. I celebrate it. And the song that I want to play is Hey Now. Hey Now. Speechless after Oasis. You have anything you want to say? Do you hate him? You hate him?
No, I don't hate him.
Yeah, just not your thing.
I just never really listened to him. I listened to the 2 songs on that album.
Okay. Well,
Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not really familiar with the rest of it, though. And
Right.
I did have the first album.
Don't Look Back in Anger? Did you like that song?
Oh, yeah. That was one.
Yeah, it's good.
It's one of those,
Yeah, it's one of those. You don't have to hate me because I like Oasis, okay?
I didn't hate
Let me like what I like.
Uh-huh. There is no judging.
There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer.
Like we said before, there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. If you like it, you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Don't be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
I wouldn't have brought it if I was ashamed.
I'm happy
People are
that
going to
you
make
put
fun
it
of
on
me.
your list.
Yeah, there you go. What's next? I can't wait.
San Diego.
San Diego.
Band called Deadbolt. This is that type of music that you would seem like you would hear it playing in like a David Lynch film or a Quentin Tarantino type movie. It's really kind of fun. It's this album called the Tijuana Hit Squad. I got turned on to the same day. I was also recommended by Stephen Jesse Bernstein's spoken word called Prison. Same type of stuff. I was telling a buddy, I go, I kind of want this like surf guitar sound, but not. He goes, you need to listen to the band Deadbolt, and it's really cool. And I've got like 5 of their albums. They're just, some are better than others. But the Tijuana Hit Squad is definitely that fun album that you can put on when you have people over, and everyone will ask you, who is this? Because it's so cool sounding. And I'm going to play you the title track called the Tijuana Hit Squad.
Me and Jose are at the bar drinking tequila and beer. Lovely senorita comes walking in. She She walks up to me and Jose. She pulls out this little piece of crap gun, and it jams. Jose whips out a shotgun and doubles her over.
I'm actually going to stand corrected. That was actually a song called Hit Gone Wrong. It was my mistake. I was going to do that one, but then I decided, let's hear Hit Gone Wrong. So that was Hit Gone Wrong. And that was my song selection gone wrong. So, hey, I'm human.
Perfect.
I can mess up. But great band.
A great band. Speaking of a great band, Screaming Trees.
You just lost another member.
Yeah, rest in peace, Van Conner.
Mm-hmm.
Lanigan last year, Van Conner this year. That's
We're
really,
stopping right there.
Yeah, that's
No
really,
more.
really sad. So this is the follow-up to Sweet Oblivion. It took them 4 years to crank this out, but it was worth the wait. I really like this album. I think it's considered the last album by Screaming Trees. They had that other one, the last recordings or whatever, that didn't come out until many, many years later. Barrett Martin released it on his own label. But 1996, this came out. Got Halo of Ashes, All I Know, Dying Days, Make My Mind. Great stuff. But I want to hear the last song from this album, which is called Gospel Plow. Great Lanigan vocals, and then it starts rocking.
Wanna get to heaven, let me tell you how. Keep your hand on the gospel plow. Waking up without you now, my own. Coming down the sky burns into my soul.
A great band.
A great band.
I mean, amongst all the Seattle bands, they were so underrated compared to theirs, but I think their music was just so much better.
It really stands the test of time.
Right.
Right.
Here is a band that we are closely connected to, and it wouldn't be a 90s without the Dwarves. The Dwarves are young and good looking.
You know, so we do these episodes when we pick albums that we play. Usually one of us picks albums, sends them to the other guy, and then they can pick around it. But for this particular episode, you had sent your picks, and I didn't see them, and then I sent my picks, and this was the one album that we both had.
We both, yes.
We both
This
chose
is,
that.
Such a good album. Such a great band. Ooh, we better not show
boobies.
those. But
We showed boobies on the last episode.
yeah. But anyhow, this album is just what a great punk album. Another Bay Area band. You know, it's just so good. And like I say, I just love Blagg's songwriting. And I mean, everyone in the band, like Salt Peters writes a good song, or Fresh Prince of Darkness, whoever. They got great songwriting, and this album is just so good all the way around. We're going to play you a song called Everybody's Girl.
Kitty calls me on the phone to say she's all alone and needs somebody there. Crystal sees into the future, tells me that she's an asshole, sure that Roger really cares. I sit down and wonder if we are sharing a different world, and all these naked emotions whirling around me swirl, and I'm in love with everybody's girl.
So good. I look forward to the next time that we see those guys. Love
Yeah.
them. Love them all. So on our last episode, I was talking about Face to Face and how like 1994 and 95 was like a pivotal year in music for me to get me back into rock. I was buying a shit ton of CDs. So I mentioned Face to Face, and then I mentioned Civ, and then my mind stopped and I couldn't remember the other bands, but it was like Goldfinger and Failure and Hum and all just bands right around 94, 95. I just bought a lot of CDs, and Jawbreaker was one of those bands. This is their third album, and ultimately the album that broke them up because it was kind of a departure from their earlier albums, a little more commercial. So there was some feuds in the band, and they broke up. I think they're back together. They haven't released any other albums, but
Didn't they play the Capitol Theater a few years ago?
if they did, I didn't know about it. I didn't go. Did you go?
No, I didn't, but I think they did.
Well, shit, that's another show we missed.
Yeah.
But off this album, I don't often like the radio hits, but this one I do. It's their song called Fireman, which I really, really love. Let's play that.
Sweetest dream I have had. You could hear the dreams I've had, my dear. They would give you nightmares for a week. You're not here, and I can never sleep. Come home so I can be afraid.
Good stuff. Drum roll.
My next one is an old Sub Pop Records, even though they were from Texas and not a Seattle band on Sub Pop, but the Reverend Horton Heat's full custom gospel sound. This album just rocks. What makes it rock so much is Taz Bentley's drumming. Tad is like one of the most amazing drummers in the Rev. Great in his own rights. And, this was a cool music for the day. It was, I hate the term rockabilly. I hate a lot of things that go with it. But this wasn't typical rockabilly. It was just like kind of heavy, just rock with a twang Gretsch guitar. And like I said, this album was definitely the one that was just rocking. And I had seen the Rev in the early days and stuff. And it was just so fun. To give you an idea of how it is we're going to play a song called $400.
Some car. Well, I love you so much. I didn't get too far.
I remember when you first met the Dwarves, Taz was drumming with them, filling in. I was like, "Hey, John, can you pick those guys up at the hotel?" And he fit like Mark Diamond, Taz Bentley, Nick, all in your vehicle with all their guitars and stuff.
I made it happen.
It was great. It looked like the clown car when it showed up to the venue.
Whenever I'm driving, it always looks like a clown car.
Taz is an amazing man. It's he's not doing that type of stuff because his knees can't handle it anymore because he's so good. But he is an amazing photographer.
Oh,
check him out on Instagram. Taz Bentley. He does some great work.
Yeah, and I love the Rev shows when he played Olympia, back-to-back years. It was the Rev, and Big Sandy, and Bloodshot Bill.
Right.
Oh, what a great show.
Those were great,
And then played with
Voodoo Glow Skulls would play, and the
It's
Dusty 45s.
Seattle, they're coming up.
Yeah. The Dusty 45s are another great band to see.
Yeah, got to see them. So we're staying in Washington for this one, but we're going to cross the Sound. We're going to head over to Bremerton.
Sir Mix-a-Lot?
Is Sir Mix-a-Lot from Bremerton?
One song called Bremelos, I think, wasn't he from?
Well, but I think he just likes the girls from Bremerton. I don't know. But MXPX, great band from Bremerton. This is their album. What's it called? Life in General. I should know that. I brought it. Yeah. Great album. It has the song Move to Bremerton. I really like that song. And then it's got the Chick Magnet, which I always dedicate to you whenever we're at the bar and at the digital jukebox. But I want to play the song Middle Name. It's the opening song on side A. Let's hear that.
Emotion is my middle name. Lay hand bid, let's enter the rain. Put epic thoughts into my head. If I can't stand the hurting what you said, why won't you believe?
You've probably seen MXPX. I'm going to say it 3 times.
I never have seen him.
Nor have I. We should change that.
Yeah. Well, my next one, I don't have the album,
What?
but it's going to be on the graphic right here. But it is the Suicide Machines. Destruction by Definition.
They're a great band. I wish we would have saw their set at Punk and Drublic in
We
Denver
saw
last
some
summer.
of it.
Just barely the last little bit.
But that album was so good. And, you know, it's funny if you guys like listen to us talk to Mark on the previous episode, we're like talking about why these older punk bands are still around because there's no.
That's
great
Mark
younger
Diamond of
ones.
the Dwarves, yeah.
And that's like, you know, the Suicide Machines put out some albums and then they kind of called it a day. They're like, man, we're done. You know, and then about 5-6 years ago, they decided, let's start this back up. And now they're bigger than when they were from the beginning. And it's really cool to see them out doing shows again. Their music's great. Live shows amazing. But this album just kind of blows me away in so many ways. It's so fast, so clean sounding, but it's so punk. It's, you know, the drumming on it's just really great, you know. And I don't know, I just love it. I don't even know what song I even picked out for this one. I think it was
It was probably something really
No Face.
no face.
Yeah. That's what it is. Listen to this.
I know they know, don't drink, drive slow, insane, no break, dress down, look plain, big fun, no gun, no girl, gotta run, flip side, can't think suicide. Say anybody out there, don't anybody know. Say anybody out there,
I love everything I hear from those guys.
It's great. They put out great music. They were just fun. And like I say, I'm just so happy they're back and doing great. And it's definitely, if you get a chance to see Suicide Machines live, it's an experience. They're great.
And you got to talk to the singer at
Yeah.
Punk and Drublic,
Punk and
right?
Drublic.
Awesome. So this album has to be on this list. It's so good. It's Mad Season. Supergroup, Ryan?
Amazing, yeah.
Technically a supergroup.
It is,
We
yeah.
got members from, Mike McCready from Pearl Jam and Barrett Martin from Screaming Trees, and we've got Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, and John Baker Saunders. I don't know him, a bassist. I think he met Mike McCready in rehab or something like that.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah, and so this album is just one of the greatest front to back, no filler songs. It's so good. And when I'm going through this and trying to find out what's the song I want to play, I had the hardest time picking a song because it could be any song.
And it's just such a cool listening album, you know. One of those albums there's albums you put on, but then there's albums you really listen to, and that is definitely one that you really listen to.
Yeah. And so this came out in 96, and they never really did much after that. I mean, Lane was pretty, in the throes of drug addiction. And then when did he die? 2002?
I believe so.
Yeah, so a one-off killer album. And I want to play the song I'm Above. Let's hear that.
How is it you feeling so uneasy? How is it that I feel fine? Life reveals what is real through seasons. Something comes around each time. I've been blessed, but I still see this behind the unknown you hide. But to remind of bigger and bigger, now we pay a tenfold wide.
Well, is this the last
The last one.
So I'm going Northwest. And this was like one of those bands, for whatever reason, I have no idea why they weren't bigger. Well, I think it was just probably because they were stuck in a record contract dispute with, I think it was Roadrunner Records, but Grunt Truck was amazing. And this album, Push, is amazing. I just loved everything about this. The guitars, Ben McMillan singing, his voice. It was just very cool. I saw these guys right before Alice in Chains released Dirt. They did a surprise warm-up show at Evergreen State College, and Grunt Truck opened. And from there, it just blew me away. And they kind of went dormant, not broken up, but put out an EP, which is phenomenal. But like all in all, Grunt Truck's probably that band for me in the 90s. This was definitely played at my house all the time with the kegerator parties. So, and of course, their big song on this was Crazy Love, which got the most radio play. So we're going to play you a little Crazy Love.
What's the song? I'm gonna fly my freak flag. Isn't that their song?
Yeah.
Is that on that
Yep,
album?
that is.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the title. I have that album,
The
but I
song
just
Tribe.
That's it. Shit, I forgot that one.
Yeah, that's great. It looks like we had a lot, like I said, in our 20s, we had a lot of good music coming out here. And I, kind of fortunate to have that, to be a part of it. I mean, it happened and it had its kind of like, well, okay, yeah, grunge, whatever people called it. It was dead. But, looking back at how many good albums were actually put out in this area at that time, you can't take that away from
You
it.
can't take it away, and you can't take away my last album, Brian.
Okay, let's do it.
Stone Temple Pilots, the debut album, Core, 1992. This album, I think it's 10 million copies. It sold well. And there is multiple singles off this album. Let Me Just Go, Dead and Bloated. I love that song. Sex Type Thing. Controversial, perhaps, but a killer single, Wicked Garden, Naked Sunday, Creep, Piece of Pop, Plush, Cracker Man. All those great songs, but the song that I want to play off this is the song called Sin. Song number 5 is called Sin. Hit it, Kelsie. Let's sin together. And we were talking off air about Scott Weiland, and he was the shit. He was a great performer.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I geek out. I'm one of those guys that looks at a lot of concerts and stuff on YouTube, and he was definitely a good front man. But there were some I saw when he was doing a solo gig. He was doing a version of Vaseline, and he was so out of it, and it was so horrible. But like watching those early footages of him, the guy was a showman. He was good. He really was.
Yeah, and it's sad. I don't know how many performers from these albums that are no longer with us, but
No.
it's just sad. I mean, we have to outlast them all, Brian.
I know.
We have to live forever.
Right. We got to keep making episodes for the dozens and making them happy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Kelsey's just gave
Hot
us
off
a
the
list.
presses. Kelsie, who was, what year were you born, Kelsie? 1990. She's just a young baby. But we asked her to pick her favorite albums from the 90s. Do you want to go back and forth, or you just want me to read it?
Yeah, let's see.
So 1995's Green Day did Insomniac. She has in quotes. It's
Was that
classic.
the album with the song Brain Stew? That I always said Papa Roach got famous because of that song. Same guitar riff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weezer's the Blue Album. I love Weezer. I'm surprised I didn't include any Weezer.
Well, and then the Offspring too. That debut album was like, that was one that I was like holding up, going, God. That was such
Americana from 1998.
well, what was their first one? Smash.
Yeah.
That's one I loved. I love the Smash album, and then but they put out a few good albums.
Yeah, they did, and they're
They're
great.
great.
They are great to see in concert because it's just hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
Right.
Blink 182's Enema of the State, 1990. That's great. I wasn't a huge Blink fan.
That was kind of part of, there are so many, we were coming out of the Seattle thing was dying, but there were so many fun bands that came out of California, like Lit, Sugar Ray, say what you want, but you know what? They had fun music, and there's nothing wrong with fun music. Sublime was done, but I saw Long Beach Double All Stars a few times. They were great. But a lot of these bands from California were coming out, and it was kind of making it fun.
Yeah, and you want to read her last title there?
The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication.
1990. Good list, Kelsie. Way to contribute to the show. Awesome.
Yeah, the thing I liked about that album, I am a fan of John Frusciante's guitar playing. He's cool. And then just when that album came back, his first one, because I kind of stopped liking them after Mother's Milk. I thought Mother's Milk was amazing. But yeah, that's a great list.
Jeez, we're talking about all these people that have passed away. I mean, John Frusciante was so close to. He was in terrible, terrible shape.
Have you ever watched that footage? It's hard to watch.
Yeah, and so he's back, and
if you really want to hear some crazy stuff, like I was just saying before, Rick Rubin has a podcast, and so I don't know if he did a little overkill, but the last 10 episodes are all each guy from the Chili Peppers, and there was a 4th part on John Frusciante, which is really worth listening to. I really didn't care. Anthony's voice bugs me when I hear him talk. But the Frusciante one was really cool, and now Iggy Pop is going to be a 2-part.
Got to listen to that.
Yeah. So, but it was really good interviews and stuff, and they talked about his addiction and stuff, and pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, so far we have done, what's 18 plus 18? 36. 36 albums from the 90s. We probably could do 9 more each. Who knows if we'll ever get there. But
yeah.
But for now, I think we'll wrap it up.
That was a fun thing. And like I say, we were lucky from the region that we were in at the age we were to see these bands when we were young and stuff. So it's kind of cool being a part of it all,
For sure, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, that was our final 9 of the 90s. What's next is going to be 20 for the 2000s.
Kelsie and I were talking about it. I don't know. Do we have to do the aughts, the 2000s, and the 2010s, the 2020s?
Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, that's a lot of numbers for me to count up to.
It is, yeah.
It's good. It was that was fun though.
I thought you were going to tell your joke about counting in the shower.
Oh no, that's been heard.
Been there, done that.
You can go back and see it in a previous episode. Maybe who can find that and tell us what episode on? They'll get a free album.
Shit, you're gonna stand.
That's
by
how
that?
we can get people to watch us.
Yeah. Okay. Contest. Our first contest.
Right.
All
well,
right,
that about does it for us. We want to thank you guys for watching again. I am Kaz.
And I'm Shay, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and do all that stuff. Tell your friends, tell your grandparents, tell your mom, tell your kids, tell your pets. Tell
brothers,
everybody.
your lovers,
love.
your pimps.
Kelsey's doing that love thing back there. Love Kaz. You love me.
Yes.
It's a going thing. We love each other.
It is.
And we're not ashamed about it.
And give some of those albums a try that you haven't heard. Like Deadbolt's really fun.
Yeah, I've never heard them. Yeah.
Something different. Yeah.
Do something different for us.
Expand it.
Yeah,
Expand it. You guys got Spotify. You don't even need to pay. You can just listen to it. It's not going to cost you.
Well, you got to pay
If
for
you really
Spotify.
like it
You
and
gotta
want to
pay for
listen to
Spotify.
it,
Yeah.
buy it on vinyl.
There you go.
Okay. Have a
See
good
ya.
day.